Attempt number 5. Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to your love and romance reading for February 2017. I do apologize that this is getting out late, and that's all I'm going to say about it. So let's get into this. So I'm seeing somebody who has been practicing some form of celibacy, whether that's sexual or otherwise. Somebody who's put themselves in a place of limitation, a place of guidelines and a box. They put themselves in a little box in order to keep their energy from spilling outward. But the problem with them doing that is that the energy gets out anyway. It leaks out in other ways. And more so because it builds up and it simmers and then, it just boils over and you end up with all this lost energy that could have been directed somewhere. So it's, we typically think of celibacy as like a way to bring our energies from those lower centers up to fertilize our mind and invigorate us with energy and inspiration and ideas. But what seems to be happening in this case is that this person wasn't exactly doing that, wasn't exactly bringing it up. It was just building up and just getting really hot and stagnant and then just, periodically exploding. And so earlier I was getting this impression of like this celibate person running up to the first person they see, in a matter of speaking, and falling in love with this person, and some things happening, and maybe this person or themselves getting pregnant as a result of this energy boiling over. The energy getting to a point that is uncontrollable. And maybe that wasn't the end result that was wanted. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be from a sexual standpoint either. This could be that this energy was kind of building up and it sort of spilled out in the form of, I'm going to do this with my life, I have this idea, whatever that may be, and the other person involved is kind of like left to sit there feeling like they're in a place where they have to nurture that idea, they have to bring that idea to fruition even though they don't necessarily support it. They feel like they have to compromise their own growth in order to be supportive of this, in order to nurture this baby, whether it's an idea or whether it's an actual flesh and blood child. And it seems to like put a real rift between the two people involved. And when I saw this card, your overall card, this is the moon card, by the way. It's probably unrecognizable to most people. But what I was getting when I saw that was that this is something that's you've been warned about this for a long time coming. You've been having dreams, you've been having impressions, feelings, little signs along the way that have been pointing you in a certain direction, and maybe this is a result of going contrary to that direction, or maybe as a result of going that direction, maybe it was a warning to not go that direction. I don't know. But it's like, yeah, you have the Six of Swords crowning you. And, this was going back to what I was saying about putting yourself in those self-imposed limitations, that diet or that vow of celibacy, whatever that may be. But this is giving up material comforts, pleasurable comforts, sensual indulgence for something practical, for something it seemed like you did it because you felt like you were going to move forward as a result, that your life would finally start to fall into place and things would make more sense when your energy was directed in other places. But it was like it didn't quite work out that way because the energy was still being poured down here somehow, even if you weren't acting on it. You know, maybe wasting too much time fantasizing about romantic partners, or just things that really had no solid basis whatsoever in your reality. And you know, now it's like there's not enough water to nurture the ground that you're planting your seeds in anymore, so to speak. Like, in your mind, your thoughts aren't as strong and stable, your viewpoints aren't as strong and stable as they were before. And so it's sort of like you're coming to this other person for ground, for reassurance, for guidance, you're coming to them to fertilize your ideas instead of using your own energies to do that. You know, like if you give me money to bring this idea into reality, then I'll do this X, Y, and Z for you, you know. If you marry me and we end up, if you marry me, we'll make a family together and start our whole lives together, but I need you there to support the dream, because without you it doesn't work. That was a really terrible explanation, but for singles, it could also be that, again, going back to this fantasizing about romantic partners, it could just be that, you know, you're trying to attract something into your life that isn't what you need. It's more along the lines of what you want, and that if everybody got what they wanted when they wanted it, you know, the world would be a horrible place. Okay, so if you got everything that you ever wanted whenever you wanted it, you would probably hate your life. 100%, I can guarantee that. Okay, so try to step back a little bit, try to exercise a little bit more objective thinking with regards to what it is that you're actually trying to bring into your life, and reevaluate it. Be more discerning about what you're creating in that sphere. Because again, we create our realities. Our thoughts, our feelings, our actions are the seeds that grow into our lives. It's as simple as that. So recognize that and take a little bit more responsibility and control over your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Be a little bit more disciplined with how you give those things form. For some of you, you know, going back to coupled, maybe, you know, if this is dealing with a pregnancy, maybe this pregnancy results in a divorce because it is not what was wanted at all. It results in some sort of separation. Maybe maybe somebody gets an abortion or has a miscarriage. You know, whatever this idea is, whether it's a baby or, you know, just a practical business idea or an idea for a family or a home life or whatever, maybe you want to move across the country because, you know, you got the Six of Swords here. Whatever it is seems to be at the cost of somebody else's life, essentially. Somebody else's free will, somebody else's own personal growth and development has to be sacrificed in order to bring this idea into the world. You know, again, whether that's an actual idea or a child. You know, I keep saying that over and over again because this is a general reading and people take things so literally and just No, you need to be a little bit more fluid with how you're interpreting the messages that you receive. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. And you know, for the other person involved, for the person that's trying to push this idea or this whatever it may be on the person that ends up being the sacrifice in this situation, the sacrifice, so to speak, you've got the Eight of Swords as your foundation. And what I'm getting with that is that you're sort of placing yourself in this fixed position where it's like, if this idea doesn't come into reality, then my life is meaningless, it's worthless, that, you know, there's nothing outside of a life without this idea or without this child, whatever it is, without this family, without this home, without living in this place, you know, whatever it is. And you're just narrowing your vision so much that you're losing sight of what's actually going on around you. You know, she's blindfolded and she's crossing her arms, and she could very easily, you know, remove her blindfold. If her arms are tied, she could cut her binds off with the swords that are right around her. You know, her key to freedom is literally all around her, and she's choosing instead to focus on the fact that she can't see, that, you know, whatever. You know, get out of that thinking, get out of that self-imposed limitation, okay? And if that goes back to that vow of celibacy, it doesn't look like it's working out the way that you'd hoped. So, you know, let yourself relax a little bit. Because I know with Sagittarius especially, there's a tendency to focus on structure, on authority, on whether, usually of a religious sense, and usually, you know, religion likes to say that sexuality is evil, it's dirty, you know, you shouldn't indulge in it, so, you know, keep yourself straight, on the straight and narrow path, whatever that may be. And so maybe you're using that as an excuse to keep yourself bottled up. Don't do that, because you're just going to explode anyway. Find better ways to make use of your energies. If you don't want to go down there, if you don't want to do that, then, you know, find other ways to fertilize your life with the energy instead of keeping it contained until it explodes and ruining your life in that moment. You know, whatever the case may be. And be more flexible and be more considerate of how your choices and how your delusions are affecting the other people involved, especially your partner or prospective partner. Or, you know, even just the empty space waiting to be filled with a partner. You know, take the time to consider how you are affecting them, affecting that space, affecting that partner, you know. You know, take care of yourself, nurture yourself. You have needs of a spiritual nature, of an emotional nature, of an intellectual nature. You have needs of a physical nature. You have to eat, you have to drink water, you have to use the restroom, you know, clean yourself. And, you know, there are also some other needs that, if they aren't accounted for properly, will consume your life. And, you know, the people that need to hear that know exactly what I mean by that, I think. I hope. But yeah, I'm going to end this here because I'm going to run out of time for recording. So yeah, I hope this reading helped, brought you a little bit of clarity. I'm sorry it was kind of all over the place, but, you know, I hope there was some sort of straightforward message somewhere in there for you. I wish you the best, and I will see you soon. All right, Sagittarius.